start off today's video with a question, and this is going to be the only video of the week, so you lot can handle it. When was the last time we had a Formula 1 season where 3 teams or 6 drivers, either one, had a chance of winning the championship? Many of you will say, well, it was 2019, but I would tend to disagree because Red Bull really didn't have a chance then. So we have to go back to 2012 for the last season that 3 teams, 6 drivers had a chance to win the championship. But what about a different season? What if we go back to another season and talk about another great season? And I say, why not 2008? I love the 2008 F1 season, mainly because of the cars. Those cars were amazing, but the season was great too. And I hope that this year's F1 season is something like 2008, because if we get anything close to 2008 in 2021, we're in for a really good season. So let's start at the beginning, the 2008 F1 World Championship. It looks really good for McLaren coming into the first race of the season. They won it with Lewis Hamilton, great moment for him, and guess who was on the podium with him in Australia? That's right, if you didn't already guess it, it was Nico Rosberg. As childhood friends, it was very cool to see those two up on the podium together. But what was more shocking was the run of dominance Ferrari had right after that first race in Australia. Ferrari won the next 4 consecutive races in 2008. That was crazy dominance, and although McLaren came back in Monaco, it was just this massive domination by Ferrari, and we were like, oh, they're gonna run away with it again. I mean, for those who had already forgotten, Ferrari had won the 2000 through 2004 World Championships back to back, every single one, and the 2007 Drivers and Constructors Championship. So they were quite dominant in the 2000s. But, McLaren was able to sort of break the momentum. And another really big high point, although I'm not going in order at the moment, was when Robert Kubica for BMW Sauber won in Canada, putting him in the lead of the crazy 2008 World Championship. And that's what makes that year a 6-driver, 3-team championship. The fact that the BMW Saubers got in there and started fighting for the championship. Heidfeld and Kubica really got in there and tried to win the championship. With Heidfeld and Kubica's podiums, especially in the British Grand Prix, they were able to maintain some quite good status in the championship for quite a while in 2008. And although, with the benefit of hindsight, and if you've watched our video on BMW Sauber, you'd know that they didn't fare so well later in the season. In the early part, they did really well. Not to be outdone, however, McLaren came back with a run of 3 more race wins of their own, and this put Lewis Hamilton close to a championship winning position. Not in the championship winning position, but he got back in there, which was important for his championship. Here are some races of note within those 3 races. So, the first 2 were won by Hamilton, however, the third in Hungary was won by his teammate Kovalainen, his first win and only win in F1. So that was quite cool. But after those run of 3 for McLaren, the momentum vastly shifted to Felipe Massa at Ferrari. He won 2 races back-to-back, and it looked good for him at that time. But nothing is certain in Formula 1, and certainly not in 2008. So, shall we go on to the next little important thing to talk about? Why don't we? Now, the next race was quite special for many reasons. One, Monza. Everybody loves Monza. Everybody loves watching F1 cars drive very fast. Like you're seeing on screen right now. This recording took me 2 hours. I hate myself. Anyways, Monza in 2008 was very special because Sebastian Vettel won it. Not in a Red Bull, not in a Ferrari, but in a Toro Rosso. And for those who don't know, AlphaTauri now is Toro Rosso. And Toro Rosso then was not very fast. And to see them win a race was quite surprising. But to see them qualify and pole for that race was unbelievable because their qualifying pace was quite bad, shall we say. But anyways, they did an exceptional job and not only managed to win the race, but also managed to get it on pole. And that was, at the time, and still today, very impressive. And that performance ended up getting Sebastian Vettel a Red Bull seat, where he would then win championships later on in the early 2010s. Hence his 4 championships. Back to 2008, though, and after the excellent Italian Grand Prix we had, only 4 races left. This season, crazy how fast it went by. But these next 4 races will be more dramatic than any races that you would probably see in this modern day of Formula 1. I mean, I know we had some great races in 2020, and I know we had some dramatic races in 2020. The one where Romain Grosjean caught on fire was very dramatic. But not for racing. We didn't have any really big racing dramas, but get ready for a big one. Because the next 2 races would be won by Eyebrow Man, yes, Fernando Alonso, in the Renault. And the Renault was only about the 5th or 6th place fastest car that year, even though it ended up 4th in the championship. Not very fast. And the first race win looked mighty odd, because he had taken a very aggressive strategy that would normally not work around Singapore. But it did, because there was a safety car, a very well-timed safety car for him. But guess who started that safety car? For those who didn't guess it already, it was his teammate, Fernando Alonso's teammate, Nelson Piquet Jr. And this was quite odd because, well, you know, I mean, one teammate had won the race, one had crashed, but the crash had really contributed to the race win of the other. It felt sketchy at the time. It ruined Felipe Massa's championship chances, even though he tried his very best to win in the end. That race really didn't help. I mean, he was leading that race, you know. The entire thing would have been very different if that hadn't happened, but no matter. Now, moving on to the final 3 races. The final 3 races of 2008. And in the next one, it happened again. No, not a well-timed safety car, but this time, Alonso won on merit. He was way ahead of everybody in his Renault, and suddenly the Renault looked competitive around Suzuka in Japan. It was amazing. It went from like, whoa, how did it do this, to, oh wow, Fernando Alonso just won on merit in this Renault. It blew people's minds how quickly the thing changed from like sort of a meh midfielder to this pretty good car, pretty solid near the end of the season. I mean, it almost added another title contender. It didn't, but it almost did. And Alonso looked really strong at that part of the season. As a rather anticlimax, however, Hamilton won in the penultimate race of the season. So no more heroics from Massa, no more heroics from Fernando Alonso. Hamilton in a confirming lead of the championship going into the final race in Brazil. But what happened in Brazil? Well, it was quite crazy because, let's just say strategy came into the battle. Hamilton wasn't on pole, but Massa got into the race lead, meaning that the championship leader was able to get into the race lead, and it looked like Ferrari was going to do it again. It looked as though Ferrari had just clinched their second back-to-back championship of, you know, this era, of that era. And no, it didn't go that way because, you know, there was some rain, and maybe one of the most famous moments in all of motorsport. I shall now play it, and if we get copyright striked, it is no one's fault. But truly, it is an excellent thing that you must see, so enjoy it.
Came across a struggling, slick-shod Toyota of Timo Glock with just meters remaining.
Is that Glock? Is that Glock going slowly?
It is,
That's
it's Glock! Oh my goodness me! Hamilton's back in position again!
The McLaren man crossed the line in 5th to win an epic title battle by just a single point.
I mean, there's not much else to say, really, is there? It was such an incredible year. Such a great title battle. You know, I'm not a huge Hamilton fan, but on the other hand, really happy for him. That was 2008, but where does this take us in 2021? What does this mean for the 2021 championship, and why do I hope that it is as good as 2008? Well, let's get into it. As if by magic, we got new music, and we've got a 2021 F1 car in F1 2021. Anyways, shall we talk about 2021 and why I think it has the potential to be great? Look, you've got Aston Martin, and although they didn't look to be strong, their one-lap pace is sort of close to McLaren's. Not on it, but close. And McLaren is really close to Mercedes. And Mercedes should be really close to Red Bull. To me, that sounds like a 4-team, 6-car, massive battle for the championship. And although, let's be honest, Stroll is not going to fight for the championship, and Bottas will be Lewis Hamilton's lapdog, we will have a battle for the championship, at least in my opinion, because I think we have the makings from preseason testing to have a really great season. I mean, what else do you want? What other proof do you need? This looks great. This looks really promising. The only thing that would be really great is if Alpine and Fernando Alonso could get in on this championship action, because who wouldn't love some of that? But anyways, thanks for watching this week's technically F1 video. If you did enjoy, consider liking and subscribing. There's only like 3 or 4 of our viewers who are not subscribed, so fix that if you're not subscribed. Hope you did enjoy. Thank you. Goodbye.